TikTok content creators discuss paying taxes. No matter what you do in the United Corporations of America, if you're earning money legally, Uncle Scam is going to want his cut. Content creation is still new to the tax system. So if you're making enough money online to be taxed, you want to set aside at least 20 to 40% of your income to pay for taxes. Now, there can be some tax write-offs based on the business expenses that you spent on your business that can reduce your overall taxes owed. So hold on to your receipts. And sometimes companies will send you PR packages or gifted products, which do not need to be taxed at all. If you're anything like me, paying your taxes can feel like being forced to learn a whole nother language that you do not speak and being forced to pay the fee to learn that language in the first place. So you may want to hire a CPA, which is a certified public accountant who can help guide you through it all and keep you out of tax trouble. Let's hear what the people have to say about paying their taxes from online content creation.
I'm a full-time influencer and I was audited last year. So here's what no one tells you about doing your taxes as an influencer. I don't think a lot of influencers realize that once you start making money online from your brand deals, your affiliate income, whatever it may be, you are running your own little business and you are a self-employed person when it comes time for tax season, which means that you have to start collecting taxes on behalf of the government. Thankfully, I come from an accounting background and my father is an accountant, so I was aware of this as soon as I started, and there is a certain threshold that you do need to pass before you need to start collecting taxes on behalf of the government yourself. But once you hit that threshold, you have to make sure you are charging sales tax when you are invoicing and then putting that money aside, because that money is not yours, it is money that you owe to the government. Other thing that I think some influencers forget is that when you are self-employed, the government isn't taking regular taxes out of the income that you're getting from these brands. So it's up to you to know to set aside 20, 30, 40% and save that for when it's time to pay your taxes. So let's say you get $1,000 for a brand deal. You have to know in the back of your head that 20 to 40%, depending on how much you're making overall, needs to be set aside for taxes at the end of the year. Like, you need to start saving, because you're going to have to pay a big lump sum when it comes time to file your taxes. What a lot of influencers do is they see all this money come into their account and they're not budgeting properly, and they're spending that money as if it's all theirs. What threw me off though is that as an influencer, you commonly get told you can write off everything. Influencers do have a lot of opportunity for write-offs, but you have to do it properly, and you have to be prepared in the event that there is an audit to show the proof to back up these expenses. And that's kind of the issue that I ran into. I write off my hair appointments, my nail appointments, some clothing, just to name a few. But you absolutely need to have your receipts for that and have the proof to back it up. Specifically for beauty, lifestyle, fashion, content creators, a lot of these contracts that the brands are sending you have language in there which one way or another says that you need to look presentable for the camera and that they will be using your image and likeness in one way or another. So that right there is evidence for self-care and maintenance things like getting your hair done and getting your nails done. Thankfully, I keep good records, so I had all that evidence to back up my expenses. But imagine if I didn't. I had to provide every single contract along with the briefs, which proved why I needed to maintain a certain image. So it was a lot. If I had written off something for an event, they wanted to see the event invite and the itinerary of everything that I was doing. Thankfully, at the end of it all, it worked out in my favor. And in 2025, it made me really make sure to keep solid records. So not only now am I keeping track of every single receipt, but I keep track of all my event invites. I save every single contract, every single brief, anything whatsoever as proof. So that way, when I file my taxes for 2025, which I'm about to do this week, I have more confidence because I have all that evidence in the event that I get audited. The tax system isn't fully built for content creators, and not a lot of accountants are familiar with the industry either. So there's a lot of misinformation. A lot of people just think like you can write off absolutely everything and it's fine. I've talked to people who don't save their receipts, who just use their bank statements, and that is not enough. You really need to have this proof, because I think that a lot more influencers are going to be getting audited as the industry continues to grow. I could go on and on, but if there's one piece of advice I can give you, start treating your influencing and content creation like a business and keep really good records.
As As an influencer, I received a 1099 that said that I was compensated $63,000 for the year of 2023, when, spoiler alert, I didn't even make half of that in the entire year from social media, let alone one collaboration. Let's talk about it, because I have an update. I totally forgot in posting this on the internet that the internet knows everything. I did not realize that the hatred for influencers goes so deep. It's screaming bitter. It is screaming jealous. It is screaming hatred of women. Why does it feel directly translated to hatred of women? Because you know the exact type of person that was commenting, finally, influencers get what's coming to them, boo-hoo, nobody feels bad for you. You're evil. I would never wish money issues on anyone. So a lot of people were commenting, you didn't know PR was considered compensation. Duh, you didn't know. Obviously I knew. I said it in the video. Obviously I knew. It was more so for other people to know. But there were a lot of people in the comments who actually did seem to know what they're talking about. So let's talk about what they said. Generally, it's not best practice or common practice that a company will report gifts to the IRS and you're gonna have to pay taxes on that. Don't be scared by that. That's not common practice unless it is a gifted collaboration. If it is pure PR, either they just ask for your address and send something, or a lot of times once a brand has your address, you'll just get stuff, unsolicited stuff all the time. So how can you be expected to pay taxes on that, right? You don't always accept a gift. However, if it is a gifted collaboration, AKA they sent you something in exchange for a video, there was prior communication that said you are going to give us this in exchange for this, you are probably going to get a 1099. All these Rent the Runway girls, everybody that I know has a Rent the Runway collaboration. I almost did, and then I decided not to, and I'm really glad. It's a collaboration where they send you something in exchange for a video. They are going in and approving the video. They're gonna send you a 1099 for the cost of all those clothes. And I don't do gifted collaborations. I can buy what I want. As for me and my $63,000 1099, I did not receive $63,000 worth of PR. A lot of people were like, what did you get? You shouldn't have accepted so much PR. Girl, I did not get $63,000 worth of stuff. My house would be overflowing. I thought maybe the number was inflated somehow. Like I thought, you know, their accountants were pushing it up. But the update is that it was an incorrect 1099. And this is my updated 2023 compensation from the company. So thank you to all the TikTok know-it-alls. Thank you for wishing me the worst, because I'm doing great. Thanks.
Okay, this is my first year as a full-time content creator paying taxes. And boy, let me tell you, I want to cry with how much I owe. I'm sure my fellow content creators can understand. But I'm gonna tell you guys some tips and tricks that I did this tax season to save money. So the number one thing is that you really wanna get some type of advisor, whether that's a CPA, an accountant, some kind of person that's gonna be on your team to tell you how to be smart with your finances. So I'm very blessed because I have my mom and my godmom who are both in business together who do those kind of things. And I am so thankful for all the advice that they gave me, because if I did not prepare myself for tax season, I'll be in the trenches, okay? And this is just the advice that I got. I'm not saying that this is like the only way to do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just telling you what I did, and it did save me thousands of dollars. So I opened up an LLC. Some people don't believe in doing it that way, but for me, I felt like that was the best way to do it for myself. And I'm also an S Corp. I'm still so confused by all of these things. I don't understand anything taxes, anything like that. But that was what I did right when I started making money off of social media. That way, all of the money that I'm making is not personal income, because when you do it that way, you put yourself in a way higher tax bracket and there's less write-offs. Can understand this is that you can make a lot of money, and when you first get your first brand collaboration, all of that, the check that you're cut is not taxed. So for example, like when I had a 9-to-5 job, when I would get my paycheck every 2 weeks, when you would see your pay stub, you would see all the tax deductions, right? Like you wouldn't get your full like gross amount, you get your net amount, right? But for content creators, you literally don't get taxed on that check. So what I did was I put away 35% of every single penny that I made. I put it away in a savings account, and that was gonna be for my taxes. So when tax season comes, I am prepared. I have my money that I'm going to be able to pay my taxes off right away. And another thing is that you really wanna have somebody who's smart with the social media taxes. Because right now the IRS is really like coming after social media influencers because they know the money that they make, and they wanna make sure that you are paying what you owe. It's 2024. It is so different now that social media is are people's careers. Like 15, 20 years ago, yeah, this was not a thing. So having somebody on your team, like your financial advisor or whatever, to make sure that they know like those kind of laws and like all of that is super important. If you're not prepared and it comes to tax season, you are gonna be like, holy shit, this is how much I owe. When I saw my savings account that I saved for my taxes keep growing and growing and growing, I'm like looking at that bank account like, oh my God, all that money is gonna be gone because it's gonna be going to taxes. This year in 2024, we're gonna be doing things different, like trying to stay more organized, paying like taxes, like certain taxes quarterly. Your CPA, accountant, financial advisor, they should know these things too. Like if you're not understanding what I'm saying, trust me, I don't even understand it, honestly. And since 2023 was my first year of making income as a content creator, it was kind of like a learning year for all of us, but they should know. And like I said, I just made this video for some people who might be new to content creating and they don't know where to start. If I didn't have like my mom like telling me like what I should be doing, I would probably have like no idea, you know? So yeah. Bye guys.
So I'm on my way right now to pay my taxes, and honestly I'm just so sad that a lot of influencers or content creators don't really speak on the taxes aspect of being a creator, because you're getting paid with no, I don't know the proper terms, but basically it's a 1099, you're not getting a W-2, so they're not withdrawing your social security, nothing like that, so you have to pay it all at the end. And it's crazy because you get big sums of money and then you're like, oh shoot, you gotta pay big sums of money, and it's like, who made this, who created this system, because it's flawed. So I'm on my way.
Yeah, just did that, and then yeah.
So we just got our taxes done. Success. I just did my taxes. I'm so happy, you guys. I thought I was gonna pay $20,000. I was like, God help me. So what I did was, shout out to my friend Ashley. She told me to categorize everything, give it to the accountant, and I thought I had categorized everything, but he was like, yeah, you might. I went the day of the deadline, and he was like, we're gonna file an extension because there's no way I'm gonna get through this by today. So I was like, yeah, give me an extension because I can't even pay that money today. So we filed an extension last week. He finally got back to me yesterday saying that my taxes were ready and that I did not have to pay the full $20,000, because if you didn't know, when you're a content creator, a lot of the stuff that you buy for your content is a write-off. Like my LED light, my tripod, my vanity. At the end of the day, all of this stuff, I didn't have it before being a content creator, because I bought this vanity with my money. It was $1,000. I would not have bought it if I genuinely did not have this job. I have gone 20 years of my life without a vanity. I did not need to make this purchase, but I was like, you know what, it's gonna benefit my content. I love sitting here. It inspires me, so I made the investment, and guess what, at the end of the day, it is a write-off. What else? All of my Sephora hauls. If I'm making a specific video and I'm like, what to get for a Sephora sale, what do I recommend for beginner makeup, if I make content out of anything, I can write that off. So a lot of the stuff I did buy for my content was a write-off, which brought my total amount due down. I'm not really gonna say how much I had to pay. I find that kind of an invasion of privacy, but I did have to pay $20,000 and it went down, and I was like, thank you, sir. I guess it's like very taboo to talk about taxes, especially in the creator industry, which I feel is messed up, but I also feel that a lot of creators don't talk about it because they're protecting themselves, because there's not very many specific laws or rules about how taxes work for creators. So I feel like nobody wants to say anything that's going to get them in trouble. So that's all I'm going to say, girl. I had to pay $20,000 in taxes because of the amount that I made, and because none of the money was getting taken out for my social security or for my what is it called, all the, you know, when you get your paycheck and on your W-2 they take off every week like an X amount. That money doesn't get taken out from me. I'm supposed to save that and pay it at the end. So that amount was crazy. It did go down, and yeah, that's just how it works. The more you make, the more you pay, and like they say, more money, more problems. Bring on the fucking problems, bitch, because I love it here, you guys, and honestly this wouldn't be possible without you guys. I appreciate every single person who likes, comments, views my posts, and Can't wait for this year to be even better.
How taxes work as an influencer and how they're different from when you work a 9-to-5. But my first 9-to-5 job, I was hourly. I made $20 an hour. So I got a bi-weekly paycheck, which my total would have been $1,600. But when you work a 9-to-5, you don't get $1,600 in your account. I would get about $1,200 because 25% was taken out for taxes. For an influencer, it's different because you do get all $1,600 sent to your account. Then comes this time of year, we're in tax season, where you have to pay that 25% back. Also, 25% is just a number I'm using for ease. It could be lower, it could be higher, depending on where you live, how many dependency claim, etc. I've talked about this before, but when I decided to quit my 9-to-5 and do influencing full-time, there's two things I did. One, I hired a CPA because I had no idea how these taxes were gonna work. Two, after speaking to him, I created an LLC. You create an LLC or a limited liability corporation, you literally become the CEO of your own business. So every month I'll send my accountant something like this. Tells me the day I got paid, how much I got paid, and the brand deal or brand partnership that I was getting paid for. And then I'll send him an expense report. This is one I made up for you guys as a visual. This shows all the money I spent in order to do my job. So travel, for example, say I needed to buy a $98 train ticket to go to New York City to film an ad. I can list that as an expense because I wouldn't have had to pay that $98 if I didn't have to go to New York for this ad and I wasn't a content creator. Same thing with my phone bill. I need my phone in order to do my job, therefore it's a business expense. This is another reason why it's great to have an LLC because you can open a debit and credit card in your LLC name and you can easily track all your expenses through that card. So if I know that I'm gonna swipe a business expense, I'll use my LLC card. The LLC also makes my lawyer feel better because majority of the things that I sign are in my LLC's name, not my personal name. So if something ever goes south and I find myself in a lawsuit, let's pray that doesn't happen, I personally will be protected because most of the contracts, if not all of them I sign, are not in my personal name, they're in my business name. This time of year was a lot more fun when I worked a 9-to-5 because I would get a tax return. Now as an influencer, when tax season comes, I owe money.
And to everybody out there who wants to be content creators in 2026, make sure you know how to do your taxes. Make sure you know what it means when somebody asks you, hey, can you invoice us X amount for that brand that you just did? Make sure you know how much is set aside. The example being, like, let's say a brand pays you $10,000 for one video, right? They're going to give you that $10,000 straight up, and you don't have like an agency. If you have an agency, they're probably going to take like 10 to 20%. So now you only have $8,000. Great. You get that money in your bank account. That money is not yours. No. Part of that money is yours. You're going to put 20 to 30% away in your high yield savings account for taxes. For taxes. You're going to do that. Okay? Because if you don't, the IRS is going to get you. They're going to get you. Oh, or something you can also do is make an LLC. You can make yourself an actual company, be it like X content creator brand, whatever. Just make an LLC in the state that you're in. It's like $200 or something, depending on what state you're in, right? And then find every single way to get a tax loophole. Example being, you're a content creator full time, and that's how you pay your bills, right? Cool. A way you can get tax write-offs is by saying, well, I drove to this brand deal and the gas was this much, so therefore pay for my gas. Things like that. Like things like that to keep your business going. It's basically what you're doing on the daily to make that happen. Right? Because everybody talks about, oh, the money is so good from content creating. The money is amazing. You have teenage girls making 6 figures while in college. That's amazing. However, these people, when they're up there making that much money, they have accountants. They have whole agencies to do their money. If you don't know how money works, content creation should not be the first thing you do. It should be a financial literacy course and then do the content creation. But yeah, tax season is coming. Content creators, get your 1099s. Get your 1099s going.
Please like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below on what's going on. I'll see you on the next one.